Hello everybody. Welcome. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late, but I did this live late at night because I want to do it while the boys are asleep. So didn't really want to be talking about creepers and info scalpers and scammers and paid promoters with the toddlers running around. So here we are at 8 o'clock p.m. on Central Standard Time. While I'm getting the presentation loaded, I'd love to hear where you're from. Feel free to drop it in the chat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Katherine. I'm a best-selling fantasy author, and honestly, I've only been doing this for a little over a year, so I'm really excited to just share what I have learned, what things have started working for me, in order to avoid and knock out the unwanted messages that I've been getting in bulk. So I made a little slideshow for today, and I think I've knocked out the bugs since the last time I did a slideshow. Cross my fingers. So thank you all for joining me live, and for those of you who are watching the replay, I'm so glad to have you all here. So as you may have guessed from the title of this video, I have received several unwanted messages in my first year and a half. Hey Leah, as an indie author, and really, that's quite a shame, because there's also a lot of legitimate people, and I love hearing from readers, hearing from fellow writers, and sometimes it's not as cut and dry as this is a creeper, or this is someone who legitimately wants to connect as another author, or this is a person that genuinely wants to connect as a book blogger or reviewer. And so since implementing the strategies I'm going to share today, I've cut down the amount of unwanted messages I've gotten to less than one a week. Once every 2 to 3 weeks now I get a creeper message, and I want to share what I've done to make that work. And if you follow me, you may notice that my posts on Instagram hardly ever, maybe once in a blue moon, get a DM this to this profile, or PM this, or contact us back, or please check your messages. And a lot of that is because of what I'm going to share with you today. So let me go ahead and pull up this screen for you, and we will jump right in. Hey Luna, good to see you. Thank you all for joining. I know it's late at night, so if you're watching the replay because this was middle of the night wherever you are, I'm so sorry I did it so late, but I had to do it when the boys were in bed. So all right, so let's get started. We're going to be talking about how I've started dealing with creepers, scammers, info scalpers, and paid promoters. If you don't know what those are, creepers are pretty obvious. Creeper is somebody that's just out there because, hey, you've got a pretty face, whether you're a guy or a girl or anywhere on the LGBTQ scale. And then scammers are people looking to scam you out of your money. Info scalpers are people looking to scam your information, typically with the idea of selling it off. So your email addresses, your readers' email addresses, by getting you to turn over your list to them. That's a big no-no. And other information, where you live, where your kids go to school, all of that stuff. And then paid promoters are people that will message you saying that they'll get you extra follows, they'll get you extra views, they'll put it out to thousands of readers. Some are actually legit and are just not aware of how this all works, and some are not legit and they just want your money and then they're going to run. So some quick steps to consider when getting started. Use an author logo or cover image as your profile photo. I saw a huge cut just from that shift. I went on, after a week of getting like 6 to 10 messages a day from creepers, when I had my face up on social media, and I changed it to my author logo, which I bought on Fiverr for 30 bucks. And if you see any of my books, I actually print the logo on the spine of my book, and I should have had one around here, but I don't. So use an author logo, or use a cover image from one of your books, or use a character art image that you've licensed for a character instead of your own face, to cut down on creepers seeing you. And it's not just women that get hit with creeper messages. Men also get unwanted creeper messages. So hopefully this might help some. I have not seen it affect my reader interaction or the algorithm really. So that is the number one thing that I suggest. And that cut down a huge bit right there. So now I usually only see an uptick in creepers when I've gone on a live on Instagram or something. Keep your pertinent information in your bio, because real people that really want to connect with you will usually check your bio first. Things like, hi, I'm Katherine. I'm a fantasy author from the United States, and I'm happily married with 2 kids and 3 cats. That should answer anything. If anybody messages me and asks a question about something that's blatantly in my short bio, I usually know to auto block the person, because that almost always means you don't know who I am, you didn't read my bio. If you genuinely wanted to know something about me, you would have at least read my bio. So as soon as somebody goes, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm fine, how are you? And they say, I'm good. Are you married? Okay. Block. You didn't read my bio. Or what do you do? Well, it says in my bio. Block. You don't know who I am. You don't know why you're messaging me. So it's a good way to knock out a lot of those really quick too. And then have your website link in your bio if you have one. This has been really helpful, because for people that want to know more about me, who I'm on the fence about, like, I don't know if you're genuinely a reader trying to connect with me or not, because you talk like you might be a reader, then I say all of my public information is available on my website. Like if they say, what books did you write? Can you send me the links to all of your books? I can go through and send them, the links one by one. Or I can say, I think you can find all my different series on my website. The link is in my bio, and that usually will knock a lot of that out too. We've already talked a little bit about instant blocks, but an instant block, these are people that drop you a message in your message folder, or comment on a post with PM to this account, like private message, or send to this, or check your messages, but they haven't actually messaged you. Those are all instant block scenarios. That means that I block them on social media, and I make sure they can never message or see my posts in the future. Anything that starts with, hello, beautiful, how are you today, my love? Like, I'm not your love, and I know this is not legit. Like, seriously. Or if they open it up with, I'm a representative for this multi-level management company, and I'm super interested in recruiting you, or I think you'd be a good fit for my brand. Again, not really interested. Most legitimate companies that you would want to represent for as an author, like book boxes, book brands, you will have to apply to be an influencer for them. That's why you see influencer campaigns all across social media a few times a year. So they're probably not going to reach out to you like that. If they do, you want to check and make sure that they're messaging you from the official site. Like if Fairy Loot was to message me and say, rep for me, I would be extremely honored, because Fairy Loot is awesome. But I doubt they would, because they do those campaigns to find influencers. And if they did, I would click on their thing and make sure they've got that little official bubble that is actually from them and not from a info scalper, which is probably what it would be. And then anybody who says message to XYZ account, I click on the account, because Instagram and Facebook have this nifty little feature where you can block any account that account creates. Basically, I guess it goes by IP address. I don't know. But I just click on the account first that they want you to PM, and I block them and do the option block them and all the accounts they create. And then I also block the person who actually commented. And I had a lot the first couple weeks, and then I saw it start to go down, and I have only had one in the last 3 weeks. So I'm very, very pleased with the results of that. But if you only block the commenter, and it's somebody from that account that's creating multiple profiles to spam people, then they're just going to create another one, and they're going to keep tagging you. So in all of those instances, I would say that's an instant block. There's no point in entertaining a conversation with somebody who's obviously looking to scam you, obviously looking to like poach money from you. All right. And then the next piece of advice that I have from my experience is to have your research ready. This is not for the insta block people. You don't entertain them, you just save yourself the time and block them. But if you have somebody and you're not sure, like if somebody messages you and says, hey, I'm so and so from this boutique and I do custom bookmarks for authors and I really like your specific book here, and I thought that maybe we could collab together, or an artist says that to you, then you might want to have some kind of form letter in case it's a legitimate vendor or in case it's a legitimate reviewer who wants to know more about your work. Mine says something to the effect of, thank you for contacting me. I'm currently away from my keyboard. If you are looking for information on my books, click here, and it's got a link to my website. If you're looking for information to collaborate with me on merchandise, you can apply for a license to sell merchandise of my work here, and it has my contact page and things like that. I never want to give the impression that I will pay for a collaboration with somebody who is randomly messaging me. So if you get an artist and they're very talented and they found you through a friend and they're like, I just did some art for so and so and I'd really love to do art for your book, be very clear and transparent on the front end. Oh, it's so nice of you to want to do free art of my book, or to do fan art of my book, or you're welcome to do blah, blah, blah. I had one that was legit that messaged me wanting to do a collaboration for some enamel pins. And they are the same company that does the enamel pins for Elise Kova, who does Air Awaken and some other things, and a couple other authors in the YA field. And I was so honored because when I went and researched their website, they do collaborations where they pay the author licensing fees to use their characters and make these pins. And I was like, well, that's awesome. So I messaged them back and I was like, I see on your website that you pay the authors. I'm definitely interested in letting you guys license my characters. How much do you usually pay? How does this process work? And when they came back and said, oh no, well, because you're self-published, you would pay us, I was immediately like, no thanks. I'm not interested right now. I don't want to burn bridges, so I was just polite, but no thanks. I'm not looking for any paid collaborations. And that's if you've confirmed they're a legit company. They have the official bubble, and that's great and everything. But yeah, do your research on people that you are pretty sure are legit before you turn them down. And don't be caught under the awe, which I'll get to in a second, of a potential fan. And then I always keep a screenshot of the current Amazon terms of service regarding reviews, because sometimes, and this is rare, sometimes there are people that message and they want to do a paid review for your book on Amazon and Goodreads and wherever else. That is not allowed under Amazon's terms of service as of tonight when I screenshotted this that you see on your screen. And I'm sorry if it's a little small. It says, you may provide free or discounted copies of your book to readers. However, you may not demand a review, which means you can't say you have to send me a copy of your review, or you have to do a review by this date and send me a link. It's not allowed. You cannot demand a review in exchange or attempt to influence the reviews. Offering anything other than a discounted copy of the book, including gift cards, will invalidate a review and will remove it. And if you go on to read the customer terms community guidelines, the customer terms of service, not only can they take that review, they can take all your reviews, they can take your book off, they can ban your whole account on Kindle for paying for a review. So these people are not doing you a favor by volunteering to read your book and be paid for it for a review. They're not. You're risking your whole account with Amazon, your whole account with Goodreads, everything you've built for somebody to get 30, 50, 150 bucks. And it's just cruel. Those are my least favorite scammers of all, are the ones that blatantly go against Amazon and Goodreads terms of service, where I'll send them the screenshot like you see here, which came straight from Amazon's website tonight. And they'll say, well, we know that it's But I don't want to cut out. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So there's a fine line though. There are some genuine bloggers and some genuine reviewers who do not know that this is the terms of service. There are authors who don't know that these are Amazon and Goodreads terms of service. And so I walk this very, very lightly because I don't want to burn a bridge with a genuine reviewer who is genuinely interested in my work and may still read it once they know that this is not according to Amazon and Goodreads terms of service. So for them, I send the screenshot, and then I send them a couple other pieces of information if they act shocked. Because if they act shocked, it meant they probably genuinely didn't know this might be a legitimate person. And those things are, reviewers and promoters can monetize their accounts. They can monetize their websites. So they can monetize their Instagram, they can monetize their Facebook, they can monetize their YouTube, and they can monetize their website. They can get Amazon affiliate or Amazon partner links so that they get a piece of commission every time somebody checks out through their link. There's no reason for them to have to charge an author. They should be making more than enough money off of the ads that are being paid to them without you ever having to pay them a penny. So if they don't know that, I've had 2 people that actually turned into long-term friends who immediately quit charging authors. They immediately took down all their paid reviews. They refunded the authors that they charged, and then they went and monetized their accounts. It's really easy. They can go find out how to do it on Google. And then they bought all of my books and now are some of my most ardent readers. And so, while yes, the majority of these people are just scammers. They're out to get your money. They don't care if you keep your Amazon account. They don't care if you keep your reviews. They want their $50. There are some that are not deliberately coming after you. So save your screenshot like I do here. Send them the screenshot. Here's what Amazon says. I can't pay you to do the review. I can't pay you to coordinate reviews because that means they're going to be giving out free books of yours to people and demanding links back to prove that those reviews were out, which, according to what's highlighted in blue here, is not allowed. There's no real workaround. The only way you can legitimately get reviews is to give your book for free or discount or purchase to readers, and then suggest that getting a review might be nice. You can't require it, not even of your advanced reader teams. So you have to be very careful. And there's a disclaimer. If you go read the further information under community guidelines that says if you're reviewing a book for someone in exchange, you're supposed to disclaim that at the beginning. And you have to say that you are reviewing this based on a free copy you received as a gift, that you are not requested to leave a review in exchange. In fact, having the words in exchange can get your whole review blocked. So usually I tell people just say, I received a copy of this book for free, but the opinions within are my own. And if you've ever been on my street teams, you will know that I tell people I'm not expecting. A review is not expected or required. It is appreciated if you would like to leave me one. If you like the book, if you don't like it, that's okay. So yeah. Keep that information in your back pocket. This is under Amazon. If you just Google Amazon Kindle review guidelines, it should pop right up as the first or second link. And then the last thing that I've started doing is avoiding the adoring fan bait and switches. These are the tricky ones. These are the people that start out sounding like they know who you are. They come in knowing a little more about you than the random, hello, dear, but they're just trying to take your money. So they'll say, I love your writing, I love your book so much, and I can sell you this promotion package for $500, and it'll go out to thousands of readers around the world, and blah, 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 blah. That's bad news. Whenever I love your blah, 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 I can sell it, or I can sell you this to upsell it, that should be a red flag. Definitely do more research before falling for something like that. I always ask them, which book? Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you love my books. Which book did you like? Which book was the first one you read of mine? And if they come up with an actual title, then I might entertain their conversation a little bit more and just go back to what I said earlier, which is, I'm not really looking to purchase any services for this book at this time. Thank you for your interest. If they don't know, then that's a block. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I'm writing. Somebody once sent me a Washington Post thing because of Katherine Graham, the journalist who is no longer living. May she rest in peace. And no, like, not me. This isn't a good fit. Sorry. And then the other one are publishers and agents. I wish I could say that publishers and agents are going to be lined up out the door begging for your book when it comes out. For a few of us, lightning strikes and you get a deal even though you were self-published, and that's awesome. And speaking of which, congratulations to Rosalind Breyer for your amazing signing with the press. I'm so excited for you if you're watching. But a lot of us never get, struck by lightning with instant success. And for those of us who are in those shoes, you don't want to fall for a press randomly messaging you. Your books are so awesome. We would like to publish them for you, and we'll give you a discount. A real traditional press, a real agent should not ask you for money. They should not do that. Real agents get paid out of your commission, out of your signing bonus. Real traditional style presses, I'm not saying indie presses, there are some legit indie presses and hybrid presses like Rowan Vale, who I respect, but people who say they're a traditional press, which means that they want to sign a contract with you and give you a small sliver of royalties and they'll promote it worldwide, they should not be asking you for $4,000, $6,000, $8,000, $12,000 to publish your book. And if they start off their conversation that way, that is an instant block for me. We love your book so much. Well, thank you so much, but I'm not interested. I'm not saying that that's 100% every single case is always going to be bad. It comes down to who you know. So if you know your best friend is the acquiring editor for Random House and your best friend messages you and you know her and she says, that book you told me about? I want it. Well, then obviously don't block your best friend. But if somebody else there messages you, clear it with your best friend. Don't just hand them over your book. And definitely don't hand it over if they want thousands and thousands of dollars in exchange. So those are really my watchful tips, things that I've found. I really do find that being cordial has worked in my best interest because we live in the digital age. If there is a slim chance that the person you're talking to is not a bot and is an actual human being, and if they are maybe a misguided fan, who came across as a creeper when they had no intention of doing so, I don't want to ruin a relationship with a reader the rest of my life, but I'm also not going to fall for a scam. So if you're ever in question, take advantage of your restricted option in social media. Like on Instagram, you can restrict a user instead of block them, and that means they can't see that you've seen their messages. They can't see some of your new posts. But it's not necessarily blocking them either until you're sure what kind of person they are. Are they friends with lots of your writer friends? Are they not? But really, I don't get a whole lot of those. It seems to be the extreme. One is, this is obviously a scam. This is obviously a creeper, in which case, report them if you need to, block them regardless. And then the opposite, which is a genuinely misguided reviewer, a genuinely misguided reader, someone who doesn't know the industry, who doesn't know that Amazon doesn't allow for reviews for payment, or even in exchange for a free book, if that's what they're going to put there. And so for them, just having a sliver of conversation, like you are aware that this isn't allowed, and their response is enough to tell you whether you need to block them or whether they just didn't know. If they're a newer account, they've got a few hundred people, they might be just jumping into this, I might forgive them a little bit. If they have 10,000 followers and they're still charging, that's not acceptable to me. I just shake my head. I shake my head. Oh, thank you so much, Kimberly. Good tips. And if you're afraid that maybe you have paid for a promotion on Instagram or you've paid for a promo tour that isn't legit, you can go to their profile and see what kind of engagement they're getting. If they have 10,000 followers, but only 30 to 50 people are liking their posts or commenting on their posts, what are you paying for? I mean, seriously, that's not very much. Maybe that's why their account isn't monetized. And in that case, are you even benefiting by paying them? So yeah, I would just be cautious. We are, speaking of promo tours, we are going to have a guest live in a couple weeks with the Nerdy Book Box and with Lily and Sue, who is a PR coach and a PR manager, and Sophie, Beware the Reader. And we're going to talk about PR tours, which are paid tours, and how to find ones that are legitimate, how to know that you're investing your money in a company that is not going to be selling reviews. They do not do reviews. They're coordinating publicity for you, posting about your book or emailing their readers about your book, like if you entered your book on an email ad for BookBub or something. But they're not going to be actually leaving you reviews. So follow and subscribe if you'd like to be in on that video, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have to say. But anyway, thank you all so much again for joining me. Are there any questions before I hop off? I know we've had some people join, and I'm getting pinged from social media too. Let's see, am I a self-published author? I am actually a hybrid author. I own Starry Ink Press. I have one series, Starfire Express, that is signed to go through that press, which is a traditional small press. We never take money from authors. We pay our authors in advance and then royalties just like any other traditional press. So I have one series that I'm publishing through my press, and right now the other series that I have out, The Vow That Twisted Fate, the standalone novel, and Splitting Worlds, that is self-published. So I've seen both sides. But if anybody's been following what's going on with Leigh Bardugo and Shadow of Bones since her release, she had to completely turn off commenting on her stuff for a while because of this exact kind of thing. So self-published does not mean, oh, I get this because I'm self-published. Traditional published authors get this too. They have to deal with this too. It's just good to have, if you don't have a PR person maintaining your account, having some good tips behind you. Well, all right. Thank you all so much. And if you're watching the recording and you have questions, feel free to connect with me on social media. Just don't start it with hello beautiful. Or leave a comment on this video and I'll reply to it then. Take care. Bye.